here with the one and only Lelo Aurelio. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this interview with us
No,
today.
for sure, man. Always for BCMMA.
Thank you. So there's been some very exciting new revelations in your life right now, some really new progress in your career.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about what's been going on lately?
Well, I've been on a track record for training. I've really sat down and took my training to seriously, actually. Instead of I would train. I would always be training, but majority of the work was just for capoeira. But now I'm actually sitting down and doing the conditioning. I'm doing the grappling. I'm doing the striking. I'm still doing capoeira, right? So, but my livelihood has now becoming just training now, and through that, people could see what happens, right? I've been getting knockouts in the fights and been improved drastically, and now I've been signed to Bellator Fighting Championships, which takes me pretty much to the next level, and I'm just going to continue at it and prove that capoeira is an effective martial art.
When did you get signed over to Bellator?
Well, I got signed into Bellator, contacted me right after my last fight, Battlefield 15, against Matt Dwyer, and they contacted me asking to have the opportunity to maybe showcase me in their company, and from there I sent it off to my manager, and my manager, they took care. They had to do all the paperwork. I was also doing a European tour right after my fight, so I went to Russia, I went to England, I went to Poland. So I didn't really have time to actually deal with all the paperwork. I got my managers, my lawyers to do all of that stuff, and then it went from there. So it just took a while for the process to have to finally announce that I was into Bellator. But definitely they contacted me right after my last fight.
That's amazing. Well, now we're going to definitely get back to Bellator, but tell us a little bit about the European tour. What were you doing there, and what did you do on your tour?
Well, in capoeira, you travel around to learn capoeira and play with different people. Very much like MMA, you travel around, you spar different people, and you fight different people from different countries with different styles. Capoeira is very similar the same way. You travel different places, gain experience. In capoeira, I've been doing this for so long now that people invite me to come and teach capoeira to hundreds of people from all around the world. So I'll get hired to go work for a week, and I'll teach everybody, and I make sure that everything's correct in regards to the capoeira work, like philosophy, ritual, style, the hardcore training, everything. I make sure that everybody's doing the appropriate jobs in their countries that are representing us, Axé Capoeira. So that's kind of what I do. We also do seminars, we do graduation ceremonies too. We do huge events, festivals, and theaters. So capoeira is very different and very unique. But that's one of my passions that I like, is capoeira, right? Right now. So that's what I was doing right after my fight. That was my vacation, as you could say.
Sort of a working holiday.
Yeah, let's say a working holiday. It's pretty good, I can't complain.
Well, that must have been an amazing experience. What would you say is maybe your highlight of that trip?
My highlight of the trip is the admirations from the fans, actually. It's surprising now that I go around and people actually know who I am now. Before, people used to be like, "Did you see that guy with that spinning kick?" And then it came from that, and I was like, "Hey, are you that guy from the spinning kick?"
Yes.
That's the difference now in what's going on. People are starting to know that I am that person, not that somebody from capoeira did it, but no, it was actually me who did it.
For anybody who doesn't know, where on YouTube are they going to find that video? Because that is one of the most popular videos out there right now.
You can put 20-second knockout, capoeira MMA, Marcus Aurelio, highlight KOs, spinning switch kicks.
That's something really interesting there, where you're talking about when you had really taken your training to the next level. Let's start at the beginning of that journey. When you first, you've been a capoeirist your whole life, and that's been your passion. When you moved over into MMA, what were you thinking, and what really made you decide to make that change?
Well, I mean, in capoeira taught me to be a martial artist, right? It taught me to have courage, have strength, and have the abilities to defend myself or to attack somebody.
Yes.
So when I went in the cage, I wasn't really thinking when I started fighting in MMA, it wasn't really all that famous, right? I just fought because it was something to do, and there was a point to prove also on top of that. Right?
What was the point to prove?
The point was to prove that my martial art was actually a martial art aside from just a dance, right? And it's a huge thing. A lot of people were really skeptical up until recently now, and you know, like, but I never really trained like MMA seriously, you know, like I realistically to say I started in December of 2011 and it's July of 2012, so I've been less than a year into like really how to train to be a fighter.
Yes.
I've never really trained like that. I trained just to be a tough guy, a strong dude, beat somebody up, put someone down, tap them out, like do what I can really, but like the technical ways to train for minutes and, you know, to do the proper conditioning and do the running and do the everything, you know, like everything that really revolves around training for an MMA fight. This new to me, and it's really good because I pick up so quick. And it's like, wow, man, look, I'm learning this. I can do this to a guy. Oh, I can do that too. It's like, it's amazing. I feel like a little kid in a candy shop. It's like, wow, man, I have so much more. Like, but I already have my own arsenals that I can use, right? So learning to become an MMA fighter for me is really intriguing now because, like, man, aside from the stuff I can already do, I can do the regular stuff that everybody else does. It's like, this is gonna be a good road for me, man. And I'm just, you know, I'm a type of guy who trains. Today I was in the gym for 6 hours, and now I'm here in my studio. I'm gonna do capoeira for another 4 hours. Like, who the heck is training 10 hours a day?
That's your life.
That's my life. That's what I'm used to, and that's what I'm comfortable in. And I like fighting. I like the challenge. I fight for a huge purpose. You know, a lot of people fight for money, for fame. You know, I didn't start like that, you know, like obviously the money and fame, they come from your good consequences, the consequences of your life, of your actions, right?
Yeah.
So if you work hard now, I'm going to reap the benefits in the future, so I like to work hard, and that's where it's kind of going now, you know, like I'm less than 1 year old MMA fighter realistically, but martial artist all my life, so I'm still a serious threat, you know, but I'm going to be a threat a year from now, I guarantee you that.
What was the click? What was the change in November that really made you decide to head into those other areas of training? Well,
that's actually an interesting story. I was touring up in north of BC, performing for 400 school shows, over like 30,000 children, teaching them capoeira and Brazilian culture. And we found out there was the Ultimate Fighter. Like, we were tried out twice previously, but they told me my record was too low, so I went there for my third time. And I grappled there, and I could see, like, the first 2 times I went and grappled, I didn't, comparing to what I know now, I really didn't know much. But I still I did really well for the first 2 times. The third time, I could see, I watched all the grappling matches, and I could see that everybody had significantly improved. Like, you know, the difference, I could see it. Like, wow, that guy's technical. You know, like, I've been doing martial arts all my life. I know when somebody has technique and when somebody's a beginner. And I could see that most of the guys that were trying out were now, like, they're fairly decent professionals, right? So I was like, oh, I better get back and I better start, right? And I came out, I passed all the tests, I got ready to go, and I got stoked, and that's where I started training MMA, like, seriously, starting in December, because I thought I was going to get into the show. And from there, they turned out they did lightweights, and there's no way I've never made 155 in my life. I didn't want to risk it. The studio also says, like, yeah, you know, you seem like you don't seem like a 155 guy. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to pass. So I continued on fighting in Battlefield, and I got 2 quick knockouts. I beat up Richard Jordan in 18 seconds with a punch in the face. Yeah. And then I fought Matt Dwyer, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to fight a guy who's more experienced, because, you know, like, I'm gonna be fighting. If I want to plan to make it big, I need to see if I can fight somebody who's respectable. And, you know, Matt Dwyer has a respectable record in amateur, and he was undefeated for pro. And I thought that was a good fighter. I was like, okay, man, if I can deal with him, then I can start to think about making it big. And luckily I was able to win in 30 seconds by slamming him. Again, I think more experience than anything else. I just had more experience than him. Not necessarily that I was a better fighter. He might have even been more technical than me, but because I have more fighting experience than him, I was able to deal with the situation quicker than him, and I was able to get the win.
Absolutely. Where would you rate being able to build your confidence on having multiple areas of discipline in MMA to just having one? Now that you have experienced both sides of that, what's your opinion on it now?
Well, I think, I mean, if you're really planning to do MMA, you have to know a little bit of everything, right? And for me, as a capoeira practitioner, I was fortunate enough to already be well-rounded in all aspects. In Capoeira, I don't know what people put in their brains, but in Capoeira we grapple. In Capoeira we elbow strikes, we knee strikes, we do jumping kicks, we punch, we slap, we take down, we do jiu-jitsu submissions, we do everything, realistically. It's just that we don't take our time to spend an hour on just submissions or an hour on just striking or an hour. You know, we have to spread it around. Capoeira is an art form that you have to learn everything. You got to learn how to sing, how to dance, how to play music, how to be an acrobat, how to be a fighter, you know, like, and put it all that together and make it look really nice and smooth. That's the difference between Capoeira and MMA. It's just a Capoeira practitioner doesn't have the time to spend 3 hours on his boxing skills. He's got to spend it on other things, right? And where in MMA, you've got to take more serious time to put that effort in there. You've got to do like a lot of punching, you got to do a lot of kicking, you got to do a lot of sprawls, you got to do a lot of submissions. So the game is just different. For me now, it's just I'm just training more intense. It's not that it really changed my training too much. The training has just been longer now. Like I do the same thing that I always done. It's just now it's been extended. You know, like instead of training for 3 hours, I train for 6, for 8. You know, because now I'm a pro, and that's what's required of me.
And MMA is an entertainment sport. It's become such in the forefront of the media now. It's a sport that is so much more popularized at this point. What would you say to people that are looking to maybe get into the sport, that haven't been part of it before? You have years and years of training behind you, yet your story of transitioning from capoeira into a mixed martial artist into becoming a professional is a short story. And what would you say to people who look at that and who want to do the same thing?
Well, I'd say for anybody who wants to get into like maybe mixed martial arts or anything like that, I say go and try to get into try to go into a martial art. Try to learn a martial art first. Try to go maybe learn Muay Thai, maybe learn Jiu-Jitsu, maybe learn Capoeira. Maybe go learn whatever you think, whatever kind of interests you more. Maybe Judo, maybe Taekwondo. It depends on it all depends on the person, right? Some people choose Capoeira, some people choose Kung Fu, Taekwondo, boxing. But go learn something. You get the concept of the dedication, the concept of being humble. You know, the martial arts concept is really important to learn, I think, for beginners who want to continue this, because it's a life of dedication. It really takes, you have to be a seriously dedicated person to train martial arts and to want to compete in a professional level. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of sacrifice too, with your family, with your friends, your social life. Gone. Your social life is in the gym, right? You're gonna laugh with your training partners, and you know, like all you got time is just to take your vitamins and go train again. And then you're so tired you don't want to go out and meet friends. You just want to go to sleep, and you're gonna get back in the gym the next day, right? So it's more the dedication. It's really hard to be a dedicated professional fighter, right? But so I advise people who want to start something, do something, you know, or even do mixed martial arts. Start. And try it out, and see if it's something that's for you. I like to thank God for everything, or God for giving me this opportunity to showcase my skills now to a whole different scale, and all my whole family, Axé Capoeira, my coaches, Caleb Starnes, all my sponsors for making this happen. Like if it wasn't for everybody who stood up with me and, you know, have been beside me for a while, this may have never happened, right? So I really thank everybody for being there, for supporting me, all my fans too, all the fan mail. I'm sorry sometimes I don't respond, okay? I train lots, guys. I hope you guys understand that. I send as much emails as I possibly can, but you know, I have a lot more responsibilities than just sending emails. But I'd like to thank all of you guys for giving me that drive. I open your emails, I read it. And I like the way you say, you know, you're an inspiration, you know, keep up the good work. I really enjoy that. I think that's awesome, and it keeps me, it drives me to wake up every morning, because every morning I'm sore, I'm beat up, and I just don't want to get out of bed, but I do it for you guys, I do it for everybody, man. I do it including for myself too. But thank you BC MMA for this opportunity in this interview, and yeah, we'll hope to see you guys next time.